Israeli airstrikes pounded Gaza City overnight amid a large-scale ground offensive to control the city. And legendary actor Robert Redford has died at the age of 89. Good morning. I'm Windsor Johnston from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. The man suspected in the shooting death of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk is expected to be formally charged today in Utah. NPR's Tovia Smith reports 22-year-old Tyler Robinson is facing numerous charges, including aggravated murder, which carries the death penalty in the state.
Authorities say they have, quote, mountains of evidence, including DNA at the scene of the shooting, and they say Robinson wrote a note ahead of the attack sharing his intention, as FBI Director Kash Patel told Fox News.
He claimed that he had an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and he was going to do it because of his hatred for what Charlie stood for.
Patel did not say who may have received that note or whether they may have tried to intervene. Robinson will make his first appearance in court virtually from his jail cell, where he's been held without bail. Tovia Smith, NPR News, St. George, Utah.
The director of the FBI is testifying on Capitol Hill at this hour. Kash Patel is appearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee amid growing scrutiny about his ability to lead the agency. In his opening statement, Patel highlighted several of the FBI's accomplishments under his leadership.
We've taken over 6,000 illegal firearms off the streets. That number is an exponential increase. We've identified and located more than 4,700 child victims. More than 4,700 child victims have been found by this FBI. That is a 35% increase from the same time period last year.
Lawmakers are expected to grill Patel over his social media posts and his role during the manhunt for the suspect who shot and killed conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Israeli warplanes are pounding Gaza City, killing at least 41 people since midnight. That's according to the Gaza Health Ministry. Buildings have been flattened, with dozens of people trapped under rubble. NPR's Aya Batrawi reports the airstrikes come amid a large-scale ground offensive to control the city.
Israeli tanks are pushing deeper into Gaza City, part of Israel's plan to fully occupy it. Hospital morgues filled with the bodies of people killed overnight in these strikes, among them children. Israel's defense minister posted online Tuesday that Gaza is burning and says the military is striking with a, quote, iron fist against Hamas. The UN recently estimated around 1 million people are in Gaza City, but Israel's military says around a third have fled over the past few days. The military's figures could not be independently verified, but the only road leading south has been congested, with people forcibly displaced from the city. Families of Israeli hostages are protesting outside Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's home in Jerusalem, saying the military's offensive endangers their lives. Aya Batrawi, NPR News, Dubai.
The United States has carried out another deadly airstrike on a small boat from Venezuela. NPR's Quill Lawrence reports it's the second time this month that the U.S. military has killed alleged drug traffickers.
President Trump posted a video of an airstrike on social media saying the U.S. had confirmed the 3 people on a small boat in international waters were carrying drugs on board. 2 U.S. officials who requested anonymity because they're not authorized to speak publicly told NPR that Congress had been notified of the strike. The previous strike on a Venezuelan boat killed 11 people who appeared to be heading back to shore. President Trump has moved ships and troops into the waters off Venezuela and says the U.S. is hunting what he called narco-terrorists. Venezuela is considered a minor player in smuggling of cocaine to the U.S. The far deadlier drug, fentanyl, is made and smuggled into the U.S. from Mexico. Quill Lawrence, NPR News.
The White House is adding Colombia to its list of countries not cooperating with the U.S. in fighting illegal drugs. The move follows a surge in cocaine production and strained relations between the Trump administration and Colombia's leftist president. One of Hollywood's most celebrated actors has died. Robert Redford was 89 years old. His decades-long career included unforgettable performances in films like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and Out of Africa. NPR's Neda Ulabi has this remembrance.
Robert Redford was way more, it must be said, than one of the most handsome men in history. Here he is melting Barbra Streisand in the film The Way We Were from 1973.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Do you smile all the time?
No. 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 No.
As an actor, Redford was more understated than his good looks would suggest. He transformed Hollywood's independent film scene with his Sundance Institute and Festival. And Robert Redford was a producer, director, and ardent environmentalist. Netta Ulaby, NPR News.
President Trump says he's deploying the National Guard and other federal law enforcement to Memphis. NPR's Franco Ordonez reports Trump is calling it a replica of efforts in Washington, D.C.
President Trump signed a proclamation to set up a federal task force to address crime in Memphis. Trump said the effort would involve members of the National Guard, FBI, ATF, DEA, ICE, and U.S. Marshals.
And it's very important because of the crime that's going on, not only in Memphis, in many cities, and we're going to take care of all of them.
Last month, Trump sought to use emergency powers to take over control of the Metropolitan Police Department. He deployed National Guard soldiers and sent hundreds of federal law enforcement officials throughout Washington, D.C. Trump has repeatedly said that he wants to target Chicago next, but he's faced stiff resistance from the mayor and Illinois governor. Franco Ordonez, NPR News, the White House.
The Federal Reserve begins a two-day policy meeting today that's expected to end with the year's first cut in interest rates. NPR's Scott Horsley reports there's been a scramble over who can take part in that decision.
President Trump's been trying to exercise more control over the central bank in pursuit of his desire for much lower interest rates. Trump's latest nominee for the Fed Governing Board was confirmed by the U.S. Senate Monday night on a mostly party-line vote. White House economist Stephen Myron has drawn criticism from Democrats for not giving up his job in the administration, merely taking a leave of absence. By design, Fed governors are supposed to operate independently of the White House. Trump's effort to oust another Fed governor, Lisa Cook, has failed, at least temporarily. An appeals court ruled 2-1 Monday night that Cook can keep her seat on the board for now. The central bank is expected to lower its benchmark interest rate by 0.25 percentage point. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
The CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee is getting 5 new members ahead of the group's meeting this week. NPR's Ping Wang reports they're replacements for the panel fired in June.
The new members include a pediatric cardiologist associated with a group that discouraged people from getting COVID vaccines and an epidemiologist who has claimed that the government overstated COVID's harms. They add to the 7 members appointed by Kennedy in June after he fired the previous members, which he said he did to restore public trust. The committee meets on Thursday and Friday in Atlanta. They're expected to vote on policy changes to COVID vaccines, along with routine childhood vaccines for hepatitis B and for measles and chickenpox. As health secretary, Kennedy has stacked this panel with people who question the safety and need for vaccines. The panel helps determine which vaccines are covered by insurance or offered for free to many children. Ping Huang, NPR News.
I'm Windsor Johnston, NPR News in Washington.